Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I've done this, this is lesson 2 today. I've done this database, I've started to do it. If you can have it open, and always get used to, if you're going to be a good database designer, nearly always go to database tools, relationships, see if the person who's made it has made a relationship already, and if he or she has, then try to get to know it. So sort of rearrange it a bit so you can actually make sense out of it. When you get used to databases, you'll do this nearly all the time. So if you have a look at the database up on the whiteboard that we've designed, this is part way to it. Okay? So as you can see here, I've made a staff database, house table, student table. I haven't yet done the many-to-many. Okay? Let's have a look at the design of these, please. So if you go to staff here with the relationship, I just right-hand click and go to table design. And let's have a look at some of the things I've done in here niftily so that you can actually see if you can understand it. Now in staff ID is a key field. I've made it field size 30. This is what we call a data dictionary. And I've also done this snazzy stuff. Now in staff ID, I've done this weird looking less than sign and 30 question marks. Now, what that means is this. That's an input mask, and what that input mask means, everything after the less than is going to be in lowercase, okay? And you're allowed to put characters in, letters, okay? Because it's a question mark, it doesn't mean it's compulsory to put 30 characters in. Let's have a look at house, what I've done with house. Short text, nice. Field size 2. This is actually going to be a place for house ID, and I've done something snazzy with this, and I'm going to explain it to you in a little while. Now, house ID, you can actually rename that to ID if you want, but I'm going to make it a little bit sensible to you in a little while. House ID, input mask, we can actually say it's going to be 2, and we can actually put in, if we want to type in letters to it, question greater than capital L, greater than capital L. What that means is the greater than sign says it has to be uppercase, and no matter what they type in, it will convert it to uppercase. Capital L means I'm looking for a letter, and it has to be a letter. Okay? Now that might be a bit of a problem, because if we do that, we'll just see how it goes. Validate required equals yes. Now it's so important that I'm going to say it's required. In the staff, we need to know what house they've got. Surname, I've made field size 25, greater than capital L, which means we require at least a capital letter for their first name, for their surname, and then less than question mark, question mark, question mark will mean they can put in up to 24 characters, and it should put them in lowercase. Is that okay? Similarly with given name and hyperlink, staff email, hyperlink, so that when it actually we put the email address in there, if you click on it, it will automatically run Outlook or something like that. Is everyone okay with that? Okay, let's see what I've done with the others. I'm going to just save that. Going to go into house, table design, just so that you get used to it. And when we mark your database, this is what we do. We actually go inside your database that you submit. We look at the relationship diagram, give that a tick or not. We then have a look explicitly in every one of your fields. Now you'll need to do a design for it, but if your design doesn't match what you've done, you can lose marks. Okay? So we will look at both your design in your report, and we'll look at your actual real thing. So in your design, if you said you're going to make it 2 characters as a field size, but indeed you actually don't do that and you make it 255, you'll have marks taken off. So we've got house ID there, house, HQ is going to be, and some people might not understand what HQ is, so I've just put in here room for big house in description. Logo is where we're going to put in a picture of the actual house. Now, I know you might not think it, but staff and students are both, they're actually really human beings. So quite often staff ID and student ID are very similar in design. Okay, so as you can see, it's fairly similar there. Is everyone okay with that? Yep. Okay, let's show you how we're going to put into staff here all the data, because as you can see here, we've actually only got one Mickey Mouse. All right, but I'm just going to show you something really, really neat. So let's go in and do Donald Duck, and what's another one? Donald Duck and Goofy. Okay, so D Duck, as we know, belongs to Andrews. Did you see what happened there? I've got that linked to a combo box. Surname, go away, is Duck. Oh, goodness me. That's the problem with these input masks. You've got to go. Duck. Give a name. Donald. D Duck. Oh no, don't do D Duck at Emmanuel. Leave that alone. Now here we've got a problem here, folks, because we've got another duck, another D Duck, because we've got Daffy Duck, and Daffy Duck is in Hawker. What the hell are we going to do about that? We cannot give it D Duck again. Okay, we'll go DA Duck. The duck. And is in, what did I say? Hawker. So if I just press the letter H, or H, that comes up with Hawker straight away. And same surname. They're cousins, so they're not brothers and sisters. So Daffy. Okay, and what else did you say? Well, it was another one? Goofy. What's his last name?
He doesn't have a surname though.
Okay. G Dog is in Camden, because he's a good swimmer. Surname, Dog, Goofy. Everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you something that we don't normally show you really early, but I'm going to do that. Is that okay for everyone? Has everyone got that in? In databases, we can make, I want everyone's attention on this, even if you're experienced in databases, because I can assure you I'm probably sure most of you won't know how to do this. When we make a query, there are different types of queries. The queries that you will choose most often will be a select query. So if you go to query design, you'll have an option, and most of the times it will be a select query. There are other queries called append queries, update queries, delete queries, etc. I'm going to show you a really neat trick, which is an update query. I've already done one, but I want to show you how to do it. So let's make another update query. Oh no, well, no, I know what to do. Do I? Yeah, okay. I'm going to show you what my update query does. In here, it might look a bit weird, but my update query is this. And an update query says, based on it can be some criteria, I want to update it to something. And if you go in and zoom in on this one, so did you right hand click and go to design? Okay, so I want you to right hand click, go to design, and then zoom into this. That basically there, folks, is exactly what we did in that spreadsheet. Okay? What it's saying is, from a particular field, I want to get the left, just the first character on the left. I want to get all of the surname, and add emmanuel.sa.edu.au to it. Let's see if it works. So, watch what happens here. If you go into the staff table, folks, staff table, you will see that Mickey Mouse is the only one that's got an email address. Yes? Close that table. And this is how powerful update queries can be. Run the update query. It will say you're just about... It gives you this warning because if you actually don't know what you're doing, you can actually completely stuff up things. So it gives you this big warning. Are you sure you know what you're doing? Do you really want to run it? Yes. And not only that, it says you're just about to change 4 rows. Do you really want to do that? Yeah. But you can't undo it. If you say yes to this, it cannot be undone. So if you're going to do one massive update, it's probably a good idea to not do it, do a backup copy of the database and then do it, because you cannot undo what I'm just about to do. And in four rows, that's okay, but if you're going to do that over the 900 students that I'm going to give you, and you can't undo it, then you might be in trouble. But let's say yes. In the matter of no time, if you go into the staff table now, you can see there's an email address. And if you click on that, it will now take you to Outlook so that you can email that particular person. Now, we've got a problem here though. Deduck and deduck. So that might be an issue. We may have to, with the staff email, we may have to consider doing the first 2 characters. Okay? Can you see there's an issue with that? That means, let's say Donald Duck is the one that's got deduck on it. Then we may have an issue with that. The staff ID worked fine. Okay? So that's an issue that we may have to look at. So that's an update query. How do we do that? Okay, let's go into student ID. Student table design. And let's go to stud email. So this is where you're going to email all your studs. Now please, pretty please with sugar on top, try to stick with me with here because I'm actually going to show you how to build this. Now we're going to do hyperlink. Okay? And then click on that and save. And I'm now going to press stop because people are now going to complete this table. From that